Today on Growing Bolder, whether it's educating today's youth, creating clean water systems in Haiti, or providing affordable health care for his own employees, businessman and philanthropist Harris Rosen tells us why he always goes the extra lap.
The simple statement that I will offer as to why I do the things I do, it is the right thing to do. That's not very complicated.
I'm Amy Sweeney. Coming up on Growing Bolder, you'll meet a remarkable woman who went from teaching herself to ride a motorcycle to breaking a Harley-Davidson world record.
It's probably nobody more shocked than me that it actually happened.
And George Diaz with some advice on stepping out of your comfort zone.
There are so many opportunities out there. Go grab them.
Next on Growing Bolder. We're not made to withdraw from life. We're made to seize each moment and to value every breath. We're made to be bold, to take risk, and to help others. We are the most creative, fearless, passionate being that has ever walked the face of the earth. Don't identify with limitation. Embrace possibility. This is not the beginning of the end. This is the beginning of what's next. This is... Hello and welcome to Growing Bolder. I'm Mark Middleton. You know, one of the keys to moving forward throughout our life is to continually find a way to give back. And of course, it doesn't take a lot to make a big difference. But what if you do have a lot? How big of a difference could you make? Well, from his humble beginnings, Harris Rosen has built one of the largest independently owned hotel groups in the country. But a hotelier is not really what Harris Rosen is. It's simply what he does. Harris Rosen is a family man, an educator, a healthcare provider, a swimmer, a legendary philanthropist, and a passionate advocate for civil rights and racial equality. Harris Rosen starts every day with a 1-hour swim. It's a routine he's maintained for decades, and it's more important than ever as the 81-year-old president and chief operating officer of Rosen Hotels and Resorts navigates a pandemic that has devastated the hospitality industry.
And we've had to do some things that never, ever did I believe I would ever have to do. Furlough people and then actually term some people. People who've been with me for 10, 15, and 20 years, and it's emotionally difficult, but sometimes it's necessary.
One stroke after another, literally and figuratively, Rosen is battling back while continuing a quest he began 30 years ago after hearing a voice.
Harris, it's time for you to say thank you, God, and to offer a helping hand to others. You've done very well. You will continue to do well, but take a deep breath.
Rosen's deep breath has changed the trajectory of thousands of lives.
Hello and welcome to the PS8 Rosen Preschool.
He's adopted 2 disadvantaged, crime-ridden neighborhoods where he provides free education to every child from preschool through college. All expenses paid, books, supplies, mentors, tuition, room and board, travel, everything. The results have been stunning.
100% graduation rates from high school, 78% graduation rates from college, crime down 80%, home values increased from about 30 or 40,000 to 150,000.
Having proven a significant return on investment, he's encouraged other wealthy individuals, big corporations, and major foundations to step up, and yet
no one has decided to replicate our program. Mark, we don't understand why. The data is so amazing. If a child graduates from high school, they will earn over a lifetime $1 million or more. If they graduate from college, add another $1 million. They will spend it in the private sector. So if I own a company of any kind, I'm going to benefit in some way. Why don't they understand?
Rosen took another bold step 30 years ago, creating Rosen Care, a self-insured health care plan for his thousands of employees and their families. Rosen Care has its own medical center with doctors, nurses, and therapists where employees can get checkups, screenings, and treatments on company time, including free fitness and wellness programs designed to help quit smoking and lose weight.
If you work for me and you're an hourly associate, you pay $850 a year for health care.
How big's the deductible?
No deductibles. Pharmaceuticals, 90% are free. Our whole premise is if you keep people healthy, you save money in healthcare. Our little company has saved about $500 million when compared to the traditional cost. We have all the data. Why can't other people do that? They don't understand the benefits to the employer. Healthier employees means savings.
Rosen also donated $10 million and the land to build the University of Central Florida's Rosen College of Hospitality Management, the largest hospitality program in the nation. And for over 2 decades, he's provided water filtration systems and supplies to hospitals, orphanages, and schools in Haiti, helping impoverished residents attain self-sufficiency. Which brings us back to the pool and the fitness center, which now bears his name. With all of his other commitments and with the pandemic threatening his entire business, Rosen was asked to save the center from demolition when the YMCA decided it could no longer support it.
I said, I can't. I'm getting killed. I've got Tangelo Park, I've got Paramore, I've got the Rosen College, I've got the Jewish Community Center, I've got Haiti. I mean, I can't.
But the voice spoke to him again, reminding him that the facility, a community center of health and well-being, is being used daily by Special Olympians and swimmers of all ages. So, once again, he extended a helping hand.
I had a conversation with our finance folks, and I said, guys, I'm gonna do it. I know I'm crazy, but I'm gonna do it. And so we did it.
After a swim, Rosen heads to his office, the same one he's occupied for nearly 40 years. A small converted room in the Quality Inn that he purchased decades ago with a $20,000 down payment from his life savings. Even after all of his success, he doesn't surround himself with extravagance. Just personal reminders of the things he loves, the family he cherishes, and the causes he believes in.
The simple statement that I will offer as to why I do the things I do, it is the right thing to do. That's not very complicated.
Rosen has already invested nearly $10 million in the small community of Tangelo Park. When asked if the program has a stopping point, he answered, quote, I'll be involved until Tangelo Park is a gated community and the average home is selling for $1 million. Then I'm gone. Finding a purpose and making a difference in your own life can be a real challenge. Can you imagine having to help others find theirs? Well, Bill Schaefer joins us now with a remarkable story of someone who does just that.
Ever have something you'd really like to do, but you stop short of trying because you're not really qualified? Well, here's what can happen if you just decide to get a foot in the door. It's the story of someone without a degree who went from secretary to CEO. And as soon as she moved forward, she made it her mission to be sure to give back.
Helping people succeed is probably the most incredible place you will ever visit. Our name is our mission. And our goal is to help people be the best that they can be.
Helping People Succeed is one of the first and best organizations dedicated to making sure anyone has the right to find purpose in life. Susie Hutchison is CEO.
I started here in 1975. I just fell in love with the mission. I fell in love with it, what we stood for. We've grown from just working with people with intellectual disabilities to now we work with children with behavioral health issues, mental health issues. We then moved on to work with children who have very significant conditions, helping their parents understand that baby will grow up to be somebody if they work with that child.
Her story is remarkable. She started as a secretary, no college degree, no grand plan, and no idea how far up the ladder she would climb.
And then our executive director at the time unfortunately had an alcohol problem, and he was let go, and a friend said, if you don't apply, you can't complain later. And lo and behold, I got the job.
Under Susie's direction, helping people succeed began to thrive. She was focused, relentless, and she was the ultimate motivator.
When a family first finds that they have a child that isn't what they wanted, there's tremendous depression. What did I do wrong? What did we do wrong? How could this happen to us? In many cases, if they had had services like ours when they were children, they most likely would be in the mainstream of society today.
You find purpose for people who have been denied purpose.
Absolutely.
So what have you learned about life that so many of us miss?
That if you don't try it, you'll never know. One of my favorite quotes is, "Destiny is a matter of choice, not chance." Who knows, if I had sat back and stayed being a secretary, I might not have the incredible opportunities that I've had all these years.
But there is a clock ticking. Susie knows she's well past retirement age, and once in a while she does wonder about what's next.
And every now and then I think, okay, you're 73, what's 73 supposed to be like? But I look around, and age, you don't have to be old anymore. My knees tell me I'm old some of the time, but you don't have to be old. Age is, it's not even a number to me. I don't really think about it.
But we are all in this together, and together is how we'll make it through. So much to learn from Susie Hutchison. Here are a few things to remember. First, age can be an asset. She's 73 years old. Now, she knows she won't be there forever, but she is feeling great and she's doing amazing work. Also, it's not the degree on the wall, but the passion in your heart that counts. Susie was the secretary and turned out to be the best CEO they've ever had. Finally, it's having a purpose that keeps you vital, energetic, and excited. Find a purpose and make a difference, because ordinary people can live the most extraordinary lives. Now keep this in mind, extraordinary lives don't often happen by accident. Your doctor can't write you a prescription for one. It's something you have to work towards. Colin Milner, the founder and CEO of the International Council on Active Aging, says that's something we don't think about often enough.
What people forget to tell us is that we need to earn our health span. A lot of times they say, you've got 30 years to go. Okay, 30 years, but what's the quality of those years going to be like? I have to actually earn that quality. So I'm very optimistic about it, but it still comes back to you as an individual saying, me, I want to live a better life, and this is what I'm going to do to actually achieve that. Very few people can actually change your mind without you participating.
Colin Milner making the point that we have to earn our quality of life, and that means seeking new experiences, having new adventures. And we've got a great example for you right now, our own George Diaz. George, you went skydiving? What were you thinking?
Well, running with the bulls wasn't available. It was just hard with COVID. So second choice, skydiving. Why not, Bill? I turned 65. It's a milestone birthday, eligible for Medicare, and eligible to jump off a plane, apparently.
Well, first, the big question is, were you scared? What was it like?
Well, I got to give a shout out. I went with a friend of mine, Art Schaefer, who owns Skydive Platka. So the comfort level was there. There really wasn't a lot of time to think before you jump. So that was a good thing. Then after the fact, you start you're reading about stuff like what actually happened. You're dropping 120 miles an hour. There's something called terminal velocity, and it's as scary as it sounds. But it was a thrill ride, but a great thrill ride.
Yeah, they should never use the word terminal when you're plunging from the sky. But look at this video of you out there. What was the sensation? What was the feeling?
Well, exactly. You're feeling this rush of air. It's like this huge fan is hitting you in the face for about 60 seconds. And after that, the second chute deploys, and then it's a slow cruise down to land. But the first minute is an absolute rush.
George, why does skydiving seem to be such a great metaphor for living life to the fullest?
Well, literally, you are taking a step out of your comfort zone, Bill, and that's exactly what I did. It's not in my playbook to say, hey, let's just go jump out of a plane. But so I did that, and it was a life-affirming moment. It was a lot of fun.
Did it say anything? Did it say anything to you in your heart of hearts or to everybody else about where you are in life now?
You know what? Test your boundaries, Bill. Just don't be afraid. There's a lot out there to explore in the world. It doesn't have to be skydiving. You could go the other way and plunge into the ocean, go 100 feet deep. There are so many opportunities out there. Go grab them.
It's a great point. New experiences, new adventures come in all forms. If you want to live a quality of life, get out there and pick one for yourself.
Do you ever wish you were somewhere else in life? Let me let you in on a little secret. You can get just about anywhere you want to go, even at this stage, if you just have a plan. I'm Cecily Wilson, a journalist and stroke survivor, and at 55 years old, I'm reinventing myself as an author and founder of a nonprofit called Wild Legacy Group to support women caught up in life's transition. I was stuck too, just going through the motions, but my stroke forced me to ask myself some very tough questions. Who do you want to be? What do you want to do? That's when I realized the power of a plan. You need a plan to move and motivate you. Make it clear, concise, and something you're willing to commit to. It's empowering to have a plan, liberating and motivating. It keeps you moving forward and makes sure you're on the right track. Start by asking yourself, what's my dream? What's my goal? It may not come to you right away. Give it some time, step back, reflect, and then pursue it with passion and tenacity. Remember, it's not the destination, but the journey that fills your life with adventure and purpose. And that's growing bolder.
Chantel Williams bought her first motorcycle before she even knew how to ride. 8 months later, she rode through 48 states in less than a month and had no idea that her journey was going into the record books. In 2020, she took a second ride, beating her own record. And this time it happened in the middle of a global pandemic. Here's Amy Sweeney with Chantel's story.
All right, it's a good place to be, right?
When Chantel Williams was young, she didn't know a lot of heroes who looked like her. But in her early 40s, she discovered a woman named Bessie Stringfield, the first African-American woman to ride a motorcycle across America in the 1930s. Bessie looked like Chantel. She rode like Chantel. And suddenly, Chantel had the urge to tell everyone her story.
And I'm gonna cry, and I didn't think I was. What can I do that can draw attention to her? So if another little girl wants somebody that looks like them to be a hero, they'll know about her. And I think my heart just, I went there. And it was forever the moment, like, man, I can't wait to share. I can't wait to share.
In 2016, Chantel brought attention to Bessie's story by riding her Harley across 48 states in 27 days. Even more amazing than the record-setting ride, the fact that Chantel had only been riding motorcycles for 8 months. She bought her first one without even knowing how to ride.
It sat in the restaurant 2 days, and then the restaurant started smelling like gas. So I go, okay, I don't know anybody who knows how to ride. I looked, I got on the bike. I remember riding a three-wheeler when I was like 12, so I got on it and my kids followed behind me in the minivan. I remember in second gear, the entire 4-minute ride. 2 days later, I took lessons, and on that Saturday, was it March 14th, I was at the last day of Bike Week. Knee pads, shoulder pads, elbow pads. I was like, I will never ride with people. I can't believe I'm doing it. But I remember feeling really happy. I don't know, like my kids said, I couldn't fit through the door. I was smiling so hard.
Once the ride around the U.S. began, reality set in.
Day 7, I was not the same person. I was on day one. I was totally reborn, literally. It felt like parts of me that lived, that parts of that fear to fight through. It's like going through a birth, you know? So I remember crying on day 7. So I think some of the other 20 days was just trying to find a reason to quit. But in between, if I keep riding, you know, I'll make some miles up as I'm riding. So it was stunning, and it's probably nobody more shocked than me that it actually happened.
Chantel's 2016 ride set a Guinness World Record. Later that year, Harley-Davidson inducted Bessie Stringfield into their Hall of Fame and created the Chantel Williams Mileage Award, given annually.
I just felt really great just to be a part of the big picture, something bigger than me. That way my daughters would never be able to tell me they can't do something. I felt like my superwoman to me, you know, at this trip in these 27 days, I had been my worst person, and now I'm my biggest cheerleader.
4 years later, in the middle of a global pandemic, polarizing political views, and racial injustice, Chantel set out again. This time documenting her trip for an upcoming docuseries called Shut Up and Ride. Chantel says she had more conversations on 2020's road trip that encouraged her about the direction we're headed as a country.
What the world was going through was very humbling to a lot of people that perhaps had never went through many challenges, certainly not, you know, the pandemic. So it changed the direction. And so people took a little more time out to talk. What are you doing? Why are you doing it? How do you feel about it? And what are your feelings now about what's going on?
She recalls meeting Frank in Nevada, a 65-year-old white man who drove a pickup truck.
He goes, "Have you ever been stopped by the police for being black?" And I thought about it for a second. I said, "Yeah, but I also been stopped because I've been speeding." And we laugh again. And he goes, "Well, what? How did that make you feel?" And I go, "Well, what makes me feel right this moment is that's changing from this moment forth, because the fact that we can have this conversation." And I told Frank, I said, "I'll probably never forget you, and I'll share the story because it's a moment for me."
When Chantel isn't on her Harley, she is serving up delicious Southern food for the soul in her restaurant in Sanford, Florida. Her husband and several of her 10 children can usually be found helping. Many small businesses struggled to stay afloat in 2020, including Chantel's. But she says the pandemic actually helped her see the good in people. It forced her community to come together. Chantel kept her staff of 17 on board. They cooked but had few customers. Instead of throwing the food out, they delivered it to hospitals and first responders.
Yeah, we were definitely so blessed to have, I call it, my PPP was people protecting people. I'd go to the mailbox and I'd get a check for $100, a check for $50, check for $500, complete strangers. Here's $200 toward feeding somebody else. And they don't know, it was truly feeding somebody else. COVID has made us better. You know, it's always a silver lining, and what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Back in the heyday of television westerns, it was pretty easy to tell the good guys from the bad guys because the good guys always wore white hats. The Lone Ranger, Roy Rogers, Gene Autry all wore white hats. Unfortunately, it's not so easy to tell the good guys from the bad guys in the real world. There are many individuals and businesses who are comfortable pushing the boundaries of right and wrong. We're not in that group here at Growing Bolder. We strive to wear the white hat every day, and we encourage you to do the same. Do all you can to help others succeed. Put their interest above your own whenever possible and see what happens. Go ahead, wear the white hat, because that's Growing Bolder.
Support for Growing Bolder provided by
A financial plan should help grow and protect your money. An annuity can help cover essential expenses in retirement. You can find a financial professional to show you how at protectedincome.org.
Watch previous seasons of Growing Bolder plus bonus stories via our new free streaming app. More information at growingbolder.com/TV. And you can get inspired to plan your what's next when you connect with the Growing Bolder community on Facebook. Show the world you're growing bolder with official Growing Bolder products. Growing Bolder tees and hats are available for $25 each. Custom mugs are $15, and inspiring Tear and Share postcards featuring original artwork and bold messages are $15 plus shipping and handling. All items are available at growingbolder.com/shop.